You're listening to the official Temple University's Football Coaches Show, brought to you by Peerless Boilers on Philadelphia's #1 college radio station, WHIP.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:46 is the time on this Wednesday, so that means one thing. It's time for the official Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by our fine friends at Peerless Boilers. Peerless builds America's best boilers. This week on the Temple University Football Coaches Show, we bring in the assistant head coach of Temple football, also coaches the tight ends and special teams, and that is our good friend, Ed Foley. Coach Foley, it's Zach Gelb and Mike Zahn here on Temple's campus. Thanks for a few minutes. How are you?
Zach, what's going on, man? If you're bringing me into Thunderstruck, you get me fired up a little bit.
Right? Well, it's not high hopes, and as Francis Brown once told us, you are the swag coach for Temple University, and after every Temple football win, you play high hopes. And I know that been playing after the Penn State game and the Cincinnati game. We've seen all the footage online, but you are that swag coach. Take us inside the locker room after those two wins and what the feelings were like from the football team.
Well, first of all, it took me a couple of years to get Francis straightened out with his dress, but we finally made some progress, and now we got him looking good, like he's finally got a little bit of that standard swag back to him. But it's been fun. The locker room's always great after a win, and the kids work hard all week, and that's their payday. And then when that's over, we blow off a little bit of steam. So the two wins, have been huge for us. But on the other hand, too, we put them behind us, and we move on to the next thing, which is putting our focus now on UMass.
A big surprising part of this game was the onside kick, and Matt Rule said after the game you were the man that made the call for that kick. Take us through that thought process of that onside kick that you guys recovered early in the second half.
The thought process just went back to earlier in the week, and it was really Matt saying to me, like, what do you think? We're pretty good at bunting. The kids are good at that kick. And, we saw a couple things and said maybe we'll look for it, see if it's there during the game. And then, we looked at it and we liked it. So we talked about it together, and Phil came in, Snow came over, and he was like, what do you think? Can you get it? I said, yeah, we can get it. And luckily we were right, but it was a group decision, and it was an exciting play, and it was a big play for us at the time. As you know, that's a hell of a team, and they were moving the ball a little bit, and to take a possession away from them was a big deal for us.
We're talking to the assistant head coach and tight ends coach, Coach Ed Foley. And Coach, obviously, Colin Thompson has been very impressive as a tight end this year, but redshirt freshman Kip Patton has been showing some strides. How high is his ceiling?
Kip has a really high ceiling. He's tremendously athletic. He's got some power, and he's not afraid to block. And it's, you guys can see the catches and the stats and the numbers and all that. And he made two really good plays against Penn State, particularly with regards to the yards after contact. I mean, he got hit and should have been stopped. He was able to gain additional yardage, but Kip has picked up two pressures in the blitz game in pass protection, one in each game, both in a critical situation that are years beyond his maturity in terms of knowing the protections, knowing he had the guy, and actually they were good pass rush moves, and he washed the defender by the quarterback. So he's been working real hard at getting better every single day, and I think if he can do some work in the weight room and he can continue to get more knowledgeable about football, his ceiling's really high.
Does the mindset change for a football team who the first 2 weeks they want to prove people wrong because they're underdogs, and now this week leading into UMass, they're such heavy favorites? What is the mindset and morale around the team heading into UMass?
That's stuff for you guys and for the internet, to be honest with you. We do what we do on Monday, right? We watch the film, we tell the kids the truth. On Tuesday, we try to be physical in practice and look at what they're doing in the base stuff. And Wednesday, we come out and focus on turnovers. So we don't really spend a whole lot of time, to be honest with you, talking about, point spreads, or not even that, but expectations and all that. We just expect the kids to come every day and work really hard and get better every day and spend the time that they need to at night, doing homework, but also spending a minute or two on what the schemes are from UMass. So, we're just excited to be 2-0 at this point. A lot of teams aren't, and excited for the opportunity to become 3-0 and taking them one at a time.
Coach, the breakout player on the offensive side of the ball has been Jihad Thomas, and he's also been a big help in the special teams with that big 103-yard kickoff return up against Cincinnati on Saturday night, and as Temple wins the football game by 8 points. I want to take you just to the looks at Jihad Thomas, because this was a player last year that was playing defense in training camp and quarterback, and Matt Rule said yesterday that he'll still be a versatile player for the Temple Owls, but then back in high school, he was the running back on that state championship team in Elizabeth Elizabeth that P.J. Walker was the quarterback from. When you guys made that move last year to bring Jihad over from the defensive side of the ball to the offensive side of the ball, when did you know that he was going to have this big of an impact for this football team?
Oh, not until the Penn State, and actually getting the hot hand and staying in the game and running hard. We saw flashes of it. Throughout camp, throughout last year. He's a really athletic kid. He's a competitive kid, and he's a great kid. But he's been really physical in these last two games in terms of taking some things north and south. And when he doesn't dance around and he hits the hole, he's hard to tackle. And it was really great to see that from him. He's still got some things he's got to work on in terms of getting his overall game better. But we always knew he was a good athlete. He's developing now the instincts and the ability to get things downhill and become a little bit more physical, which is where he's gained a lot of strides in terms of himself as a running back. And he's got all those natural skills that you need in the returner, because it's the same thing when you're a kick returner. It's like you don't have a lot of time. And even when he was returning kicks for us last year, he'd try to figure out where it was, or it wasn't there, and he wouldn't hit it, or just miss it, and this year, he knows he's got to get upfield, make a guy miss, and then he can use his athletic ability after that. That's exactly what he did on that kick.
You guys are +4 in the turnover department this year, and that's a big credit to your defense, but your offense is also protecting the football, something we didn't see last year. And I know it's early on the season. We're only 2 games in, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it really seems like the big point of emphasis in the offseason was winning the battle in the trenches, then establishing that run and protecting the football. Was that a fair assessment to say those are some things you guys worked on in the offseason?
Yeah, we worked on them, and you may look at it and say we're winning the turnover battle, but I don't think there's anybody in our organization that's happy about that last turnover. So, as good as you think you may look on paper, it's never good enough. And we're never going to stop talking about ball security here. It's part of the core of what we believe in. And, it wouldn't matter if we were +12, and after 2 weeks from now, we would still be talking about ball security all the time. And we've got to do a better job and a great job, as coaches and as a team, just to make sure that we're taking care of that thing.
Everyone wants to talk about, on the offensive side of the ball, P.J. Walker, Jihad Thomas, more explosive players. How important are the senior leaders like Kyle Friend, Shabazz Ahmed for this offensive line?
Well, Kyle is like having a 10-year veteran offensive line coaching the line, sometimes to a fault, but he's been the guy. I mean, he goes up there and he's running the show. He's giving us feedback. It's like talking to a coach in the booth. I kid around with him because he's in here at night. Sometimes I got to be like, hey, Kyle, what do you got to I got to do something else in your life here. He's like, Coach, I just want to do whatever I can do. So he's in here, as much as the coach is just trying to get himself better. And the great thing about Kyle, as with any great leader, is if something's not going right, he's going to address it. He's going to address it head on, face to face, like a man. And he's been just a great leader for us.
We're talking to Ed Foley on the official Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers. Peerless builds America's best boilers. Coach, you are a coach of the special teams, so I want to take you into the kicking game department. Last year, Austin Jones was 13-22 on the year. So far on this young season, through 2 games, he's 4 of 4 and had 2 kicks from 40-plus yards out. What's been the biggest difference with Austin Jones so far from last year to this year?
2 things to me: experience of having done it, and then a year in the weight room with Coach Scott and his guys. So he's a more explosive athlete, and he's got just a really good rhythm right now. And it's not like he's missing a bunch of kicks in practice and then going into the games, and making them. He's making kicks everywhere. He has been for a while. Knock on wood, please. And I would expect him to continue. He's got a great approach. So his approach is everything's technical to him, and if he hits one that's bad, he's going to come right back and make the next one. He said he hit the kickoff out of bounds against Penn State and came off to me, and this is as a sophomore and, still somebody with not a ton of experience. The coach, I just missed it. And he was ready for the next one, getting ready to kind of say, Coach, I'm just get me back out there and let's go. Let's get the next one as soon as we can. So, he's a good kid with a good attitude. He's got a great leg, and I'm expecting great things for him to continue.
Before we let you on, this week you guys will be up at UMass at Gillette Stadium, home of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. We'll be on the call here for WHIP Radio. Our coverage on our station starts at 2:15 with the kick at 3 o'clock from Foxborough. But this UMass team, I look at them. This is a game that I think you guys should win going away. But Coach Mark Whipple, there's a lot of respect for him. He won a championship in college and at the professional level. What jumps off the page for you when you take a look at this UMass team?
Well, it's hard for me to separate UMass from Mark Whipple. I've been coaching against Coach Whip for so long back in the days when he was at Brown, and and they're always unpredictable. They always throw the ball very well, even when they haven't had. They pretty much have always had a talented quarterback. But if there was a year that they didn't, they had a scheme where they would still throw it all over the place, and he would find ways to get that done. So, he's a hell of a coach, and I know that in addition to all the great things that they did last year, throwing the football and moving the football, he's going to have some surprises for us this Saturday, as he does every Saturday. So you're always, whenever you play a Coach Whipple team, you always got to get ready for a wide open offensive attack, shots over the top, and that kind of stuff. But to me, watching them too, they got a really hard-nosed defense. They got 9 seniors on defense, and they play their tails off. I mean, they fly to every ball, and they're really good. Their scheme gives you problems because they're in the odd and they're blitzing, and they got good players that really are hard-nosed kids. So. We just got to go out there and do what we do and take the same approaches, one play at a time, and that's really what we're trying to get across to kids right now.
Coach, we appreciate you coming on today. We always love to talk to you. Best of luck this Saturday. And you thought Thunderstruck got you going. We always end our show with Frank Sinatra's High Hopes. So if you want to tune in about a minute, you will get those blood juices going really well.
Nothing gets me fired up like a little Frank Sinatra, Zach. I appreciate it, bud.